Why do you like the letter X as much as you do?
Well, I mean, yeah, well, it's a good question, honestly. Sometimes I wonder what's wrong with me. I mean, it started off with where I think, so way back in ancient times, in '99, the pre-Cambrian era when there were only sponges, there were only 3 one-letter domain names, and I think it's X, Q, and Z, and I was like, okay, I want to create this place where it's the financial crossroads, or like the financial exchange, you know. It's essentially solving money from an information theory standpoint, where the current banking system is a large number of heterogeneous databases with batch processing that are not secure. And if we could have a sort of a single database that was real time and secure, that would be more efficient from a monetary, from an information theory standpoint, than, you know, a large number of heterogeneous databases that batch process very slowly, insecurely. So that was sort of X.com way back in the day, which kind of became PayPal, and then and it was acquired by eBay. And then eBay, someone reached out from eBay and said, "Hey, do you want to buy the domain name back?" And I was like, "Sure," you know. And so I had the domain name for quite a while. And then, yes. Then I was like, well, maybe this acquiring Twitter would also be an opportunity to revisit the original plan of X.com, which is to create this this like clearinghouse of financial transactions, like basically to create a more efficient database, money database, is a way to think about it. Is like people, like money is really an information system for labor allocation. Like people sometimes think money is power in and of itself, but it doesn't really. If there's no labor to allocate, it's meaningless. So if you were to be on a desert island with $1 trillion, dollars or whatever, it doesn't matter. Oh yeah, right. Why speculate when you can be real? I just hope I don't end up on a desert island. It's not going to be very useful to me. But it illustrates my point that if you're stranded on a desert island with $1 trillion, it's not useful because there's no labor to allocate. You just allocate yourself. So anyway, it's this long-winded way of saying that it's just really like I'm just kind of slowly revisiting this idea that I had 25 years ago to create a more efficient money database. And if that's successful, people will use it, and if it's not successful, they won't use it. And then I also like the idea of like sort of having a unified app or website or whatever where you can do you can do anything you want there. Sort of China has this with WeChat, right, somewhat, where you can exchange information, you can publish information, you can exchange money, you can people kind of live their life on WeChat in China. It's quite useful, but there's no real WeChat outside of China. So it's kind of WeChat plus, I'd say, is the idea for X. Anyway, so then Space Exploration Technologies is the full name of the company, but it's like, that's too much, that's a mouthful. So I was like, we'll just call it SpaceX, like FedEx for space. It just happens to have an X in the, because exploration has an X, but and I was like, well, I like the idea of capitalizing the X just artistically. So then that's why it's SpaceX. But and then what else we got? I got a kid. He's called X2. But his mother is the one that named him X. And I said, people are really going to think I've got to think about X if we name our kid X2, And I said to her, like, look, I do have X.com, So people are going to really think I've got somewhat of a fetish for this letter. But she said, no, she likes X and she wants to call him X. I'm like, okay.